salty milk tea with cheese and beef, Mongolian style. I remember the driver for our trip to the Chahar volcano cluster mentioned that weather on the grassland 说变就变, it changes as fast as you can say change. The weather looked alright before we entered the majestic Inner Mongolian Museum, but when it rains, it pours, literally. Listen to all the cats and dogs coming down. We were caught without umbrellas, but fortunately, Ger日勒阿妈奶茶馆 has a branch nearby. The restaurant has a quaint atmosphere and specializes in milk tea, as in Mongolian salty tea. This came from the Inner Mongolian Museum. Got caught in the rain, more wet, but fortunately, got a big bowl of Mongolian salty tea to warm us up. Warmed us up it did, and filled us up too. The suutei tsai Mongolian salty tea comes in different sizes, but with the big tub, you get the whole 9 yards.
奶皮、奶豆腐、肉干、调米、奶油啊，我们稍微炒一下。
哦，有点炒香一下是吧？
稍微热一下，锅热一下。好香呀！闻到那个炒米的味道了。就是。
The whole 9 yards include 肉干 beef jerky, chami proso millet fried usually in butter, nai pi the thin slices of dried milk skin. Supposedly 1 kilogram of the milk skin requires 7 kg of milk, nai jiaokao or literally chewy milk, which is thick cream. And lastly, the white sticks of nai tofu or literally milk tofu, which actually refers to cheese. As for the salty milk tea, I'll leave that in the description section.
奶茶可以喝了啊，锅前面有火，小心烫手。好的。完了，快着锅就行。奶茶是速成，可以看一下。
Here they underline the pureness of the salty tea, declaring that they don't use milk tea powder, margarine, non-dairy creamer, or millet. We did think that it tasted better and more natural than other salty teas we've had, including breakfast at 5-star hotels in Inner Mongolia. We've had this kind of salty milk tea before at places like this Mongolian restaurant in Shanghai and this Uzbek restaurant in Vladivostok, but this one in Hohhot was the best.
然后豌豆我给你拿个小勺。哦，好的，谢谢。We've eaten all these dairy products along with the proso millet and jerky in a massive platter during our first meal at Monggudayin, but that was much like a cheese platter. Simmering these in salty tea created an entirely different enjoyment, like Gruyere on French onion soup. On the side was a bowl of fried dough. These are called ranguotiao on the menu. Ranguotiao was also served with the aforesaid cheese platter, but those were crunchy sticks, while these were puffy nuggets. I suspect these to be a form of the traditional bawasek fried dough, actually reminiscent of donut holes, minus the glaze and sugar. They were yummy on their own, but I liked them even more when dipped in the tea. Reminded me of the common Chinese breakfast combo, doujiang youtiao, soy milk and fried dough stick. More dough and pastry coming up, Alashan toro sebi, flat bread with filling of camel meat from Alashan leek. You could consider this a kind of Chinese crepe with savory filling. We had something similar a few days back, and just as the camel meat filling before, it was very delectable. But to our not so discerning taste buds, it felt like a seasoned mixture of pork and beef. Speaking of beef, this 石头山烤肉 Stone Mountain barbecue was a mighty mountain of lamb and beef. So we got a pretty big meal here. This one is the main meat course. It's called Stone Barbecue. It's a sort of meat platter. Plenty of stuff here. Lamb ribs. And then this looks like beef ribs. And then got the unique Mongolian blood sausage. And onions and the salt. And the salt actually included stones buried beneath the heap of food. So I'm guessing this might be an iteration of the Mongolian Hohhot barbecue. Interesting format aside, meats in the platter were only so-so. Some of the riblets were all fat, and some meat slices were on the dry side. I wouldn't go so far as to say the meats were bad, it's just that we've turned pickier because we've gotten used to the generally exceptional meat quality in Hohhot. I mean, meat fell off the bone clean and easy, but that had turned into a basic requirement for any bone-in meats we ordered. These lamb skewers were better. A balance of fatty and lean meats were threaded through the spears. Some edges were browned and crispy, while the inside stayed juicy. And spices were generous, but applied with skillful technique that won't make you feel like you just ate a handful of sand. This might sound like heresy to some, but we thought the sticks here outshone those at Wangwei Yanglou Chuan, the lamb skewer specialist last night.
And then 沙葱炒鸡蛋, scrambled eggs with Mongolian onion. As mentioned in older videos, the Mongolian onion is akin to a cross between spring onion and Chinese chives, which are common ingredients added to scrambled eggs in China. So this version with Mongolian onion seemed like deja vu of eating scrambled eggs right from our own kitchen, but not 100%, because the Mongolian onion gives you texture from one and flavor from the other. To overcome the onion breath of the Sichuan Mongolian onion, we got 铁板奶酪, literally cheese on iron skillet, which were balls of battered cheese deep fried then drenched in syrup. It was decent early on, but we ate it like a dessert at the end of the meal. By then the shells had hardened and the syrupy coating turned super sticky. The sweet balls of cheese should have been served later, like this Mongol bingao, literally Mongolian ice cream. The waitress purposely asked if this should be served later, otherwise the ice cream would melt. It reminded us of ice cream sandwich but with a crunchy top, thanks to the fried proso millet, same as those used in the salty tea. It wasn't a flawless meal, and for general Mongolian cuisine we prefer Hohhot. But 格日勒阿妈奶茶馆 offers great bang for the buck. Then there's the phenomenal salty tea, and the rustic Mongolian barn ambience was cute and memorable. Perhaps it's a sort of grandma's kitchen as suggested by its name and logo. So bookmark the place if you're looking for Mongolian grandma's cooking. 再见!